How's it going, everybody? It's another Monday evening. Tonight, we are jumping into some trivia. We're going to catch up on our weeks. I think a couple of us had a fantasy football draft this week, so we'll see how that went. But mostly, we're just here for a good, solid time. But of course, nothing can be good without the glorious help of one man with a job. So without further ado, I must say, Wes, punch it!
Oh, man.
There we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Living Force, a UTD Network podcast. Tonight, all about us versus the machine. That's right, it's trivia night. I'm one of your hosts, Eric Eilerson, and joining me tonight, just to have a little goofy fun, are two lovely, lovely gents, including the finally home again. It's Dr. Gray Helton. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? Hello, nerds. Welcome back. Welcome back to me as well. Been traveling again last couple weeks. I was in new location this time, Nashville, actually. New hospital working out there. It was not bad. I did get trapped in Atlanta for like 7 hours on the way out there. That was kind of shitty. But I'm back now. I'm having beer. I can drink again because I try not to drink when I on those types of jobs. But I'm glad to be back. And to continue the insanity tradition that I have of moving.
Oh my God, right?
Day after tomorrow, I'm moving to Charlotte, which is insane.
It's your last show in this house.
It has been a crazy week. Like, seriously. Is this the time? You want me to tell you about the week now?
Go into it. This is the big one. Wes is here too. You guys know him.
Yeah. This has been a crazy week. My dog, Ray, a lot of you guys know I have two small poodles, Ray and Kylo. Ray slipped a disc in her back. It was a medical emergency. We had to drive her all the way to Charlotte to get crazy imaging done, and she had to have an emergency neurosurgery on her spinal cord. And long story short, she's doing great. She can still walk. She's got wobbly back legs, needs a ton of physical therapy. But holy shit, it scared the crap out of me and Caitlin. This was like the first real crisis that we faced as a couple, with me, being several hundred miles away and traveling for work like this. And man, this was scary. It was scary. You guys were awesome. And Eric, you and Wes both, and Charles too. Charles saved us. Caitlin stayed with them for a couple days. It was a really scary week, honestly, with all that stuff. And it's just been wild. It's been wild. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad Ray's doing good. She was very, very happy to see me. I teared up a little when I got home, not going to lie. And it was, it cost me a lot of money. And it's a little alarming, honestly, how much I was just willing to drop without a second thought.
Man.
Yeah, we love these little dogs like children. So
they are.
It's crazy, but she's doing good. But she's doing good.
Yeah, it was a wild week for us to get that message, figuring out what was going on with Ray. But so glad she's okay. And glad that you guys are doing well. I can't wait for you to be my pseudo neighbors here in a couple days. But now, because he was so patient and because he deserves it, he deserves not only this intro, not only riches and wealth beyond his imaginings, but perhaps the fate of the world itself belongs in his glorious golden heart. It's Wes Jenkins. Hey, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
I delayed. I owed you a little bit.
Oh, boy. Core, do you remember how great Asheville was when you first moved there? He's like, I'm never leaving. This place is great,
dude,
guys. The brewery.
I don't want to leave. Listen, you can blame Eric and Charles for this one, all right? I don't want to leave. I love Asheville. I love Asheville. I'm sad to leave. It's the first city I've ever lived in that I'm sad to leave. So, yeah, I know. I'll eat my words.
That's all right. Yeah. That's all right. Yeah, it's still a million down here in the South. So once you,
how you doing, man?
If you go a couple miles to the, down to the equator, then your grass will all be burnt. You won't have to pay for a water bill anymore, I guess, because we don't. It just evaporates immediately. And then
there isn't water anymore.
I
That's what
made
you're
a
saying?
huge mistake in cutting my yard and then not watering it because it is.
no.
My lawn looks like I live in Arizona. It's just a dirt patch now, pretty much.
Do they ration water in your area?
They do. Yeah, we have a it's like a high alert like water ban or something. You can't really water your yards, but everybody still does it. Like they say not to water your yard, but you see the whole community like medians and stuff that you pull into different neighborhoods. They all have like super green grass, like all the flowers are there because they're all being watered at night. But you can't water your lawn.
You just want to get some. You want to paint it? Just get some green spray paint. Just go out there and be like, "I'm saving the environment."
They showed that on the news the other day. They were like, "You want your?" They just showed some guy with a giant, looks like a pressure washer, just spraying
Seriously?
green spray paint
That's a
on
thing,
your yard.
isn't it?
It is a thing. Yeah.
It's not spray paint though. It's like something that's eco-friendly and shit, right? I mean, I think
not
it's
spray
like
paint.
Wow.
Still.
It's like that. You remember that commercial in the early aughts and late '90s with the hair? Like, as you could spray the hair follicles.
Yes.
If you were
Oh,
balding,
yeah.
it's like that, but for a lawn.
They actually just had a commercial about that in 2023 for ladies who their roots show. And she goes, "Your roots
yeah.
showing?" Boo! And they just took a thing of spray paint and just went over their hair. And I was like, "Huh? You naked? You can't even tell. You can't even tell."
you can't even tell.
All right. Well, to all our Texan listeners, if you're missing out on your green grass, so many options available for you in the aerosol world. So be sure to check that out. One thing I want to talk about though this week, as I kind of mentioned in the pre-roll, if you listen to those, upcoming in the next few weeks is part of my favorite time of the year. Starfield's coming out, which is true. But also, football season is coming up, and every year we do the Utini Fantasy Football League. Our draft is next week, next Sunday, so wish me and Wes luck on that. I had my first draft of the season yesterday with a different league. This league's insane. For those of you that play, I'll be quick. It's 2 quarterback, 3 running back, 3 wide receiver, 2 flex, kicker defense every week.
Holy crap.
So 10-team league, but you got to start like 3 running backs and probably 5 receivers. But, Wes, I want to get your props on this. I got J.K. Dobbins in the 13th round because he was still on the PUP list, and he came off today and returned to practice.
Nice find, Eric.
But I got him in the 13th.
Nice
so.
find.
Did you have a draft this week?
No, I did not, but I have 4
Okay.
upcoming. I have 4 upcoming. I've never done 4 before. I usually like stick to 3 at max.
Yep.
I'm
3's
doing
my
4.
magic number.
How do you go about picking your team name, Eric? What is your strategy in picking a team
You do
name?
the same thing every time,
Yeah.
or do you do
I
some
have. I've done the same team every time, and I've always lost those leagues. So, like, I did Star Wars names. Like, I did, like, the Alderaan Molotors. I did, like, the Corellian Falcons. And those always lose. The league I've won 2 years in a row is my team has been called Kelsey, You and Hell for Travis Kelsey. And even when he's not been on my team, I've kept the name because I keep winning. But puns are what I use. So my Utini name this year is going to be the Bryce is Right for Bryce Young. So I like player name puns to
got
be
you.
more
Good.
successful. What do
Okay,
you
I like
do
that.
usually, Wes?
In my early years, mine were characters from Seinfeld. So every obscure character from Seinfeld was my team
Okay.
name. So like all of Kramer's aliases, like H.E. Pennypacker was one of my names. I also won a league under Vegetable Lasagna, which was a guy that just sat next to Elaine in a random episode on a plane, and she called him Vegetable Lasagna because that's what he ordered for his food. So I named my team that, and I won that year. Weird, but
Wow.
going forward, all my team names
Yes.
are from professional wrestlers, but they're old gimmicks that nobody's ever heard of them for. So like, so Chris Jericho is a wrestler. I don't know if you've heard about him. He has a band and everything, but his first name that he was going to come up with was Jack Action, and somebody told him that name sucks, so he changed it immediately. He never went under the name as Jack Action. He just thought about it. So that is my team name for this new league that I joined, and people are just like, who the hell is this guy that's just joining our league? His name is Jack Action.
Although
It's a good
you gotta
name.
get a picture,
It's a
though.
strong name. I like that.
You Yeah.
So
do you get like cool like clip art pictures
Yes,
or like
yes.
okay?
Yeah, it's a picture of him from the old days, like The Undertaker. He first wrestled under the name Texas Red because he actually has red hair. Believe it or not. Just weird stuff like that. So I go for their first or like most obscure wrestling gimmicks that they did before they became famous. And so
I like that a lot.
That's good.
I like that
That's
a lot. we got Caroline in the chat who's going to be in our Utini League. Caroline is a huge Saints fan and Taylor Swift fan, and she says she's going to steal hers from TikTok called Getaway Car, but Carr is C-A-R-R in honor of their new quarterback, Derek Carr.
That's good too.
Oh,
That's
Derek
good too.
Carr.
I like
You mean
that.
it's not David Carr who
the Houston Texans legend from 2002?
Who embarrassed Dak Prescott in that football throwing contest that I saw on social media?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Also, everyone enjoy this year as you watch my sanity be solely dependent on whether Dak's going to be the franchise for the next 5 years or not, based on every week.
I don't think it's a problem.
I'm concerned, but luckily I get to watch the Panthers this year, so cool.
How much do Panther tickets cost? That's the team that's in Charlotte, by the way.
Yeah, they are
not
way more expensive than they should be because the owner sucks. But there are preseason tickets in the nosebleeds for $7.
Oh,
okay, all right, nosebleeds, $7 is pretty good.
Preseason.
I thought that somebody owned him. They just sold him.
That's the Hornets. Michael Jordan used to own part of the Hornets, and those were cheap tickets.
Okay,
but the Panthers is David
the NBA
Tepper.
team. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm excited. We'll see how it goes. I'm hopeful for it. But we will. I'm very excited. I'm going to bring Corey all these events. We like to share our interests. Speaking of which, I got to call you out, Corey. Corey did a lovely thing this past week because of course, everyone, I'm continuing my Stormlight Archive reading. I'm reading Oathbringer. I'm 400 pages in. It's great. It continues to dominate my every thought. And Corey, I texted this week. I'm like, oh man, I'm very excited. I have an idea. You have this time in Atlanta when you're on layaway, or not layaway, layover. You're not a Kmart item. You're at a layover in Atlanta. You should read Way of Kings. And then Corey, you sent me a snapshot of the cover on your Kindle.
Jesus. Okay, Eric is way underselling it this morning. Like freaking five in the morning. I finished Rise of the Red Blade at like 5 in the morning this morning. And I was like, well, I need something else to read for the next couple of hours. And I had a layover in Atlanta this morning. And I was literally in the process of it was uploading. The image was uploaded because it takes a second in Slack sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it was uploading. I took a picture of my Kindle of the cover, and it Eric's message came through and my message came through the exact same time. Of like, I said, "Hey, look what I'm reading," and he goes, "Hey, you should start Way of Kings." And I was like,
amazing.
Well, that's about perfect. So
yeah, set the tone.
It's good.
Say.
Spoiler alert. There you go. Yeah, spoiler alert.
Look at that.
Everything Brandon Sanderson writes is phenomenal. It's genuinely like hurt my Star Wars book reading experience. As terrible as that sounds, like I've only read 3 of his books, and all 3 of them are maybe the 3 best books I've ever read in my life. Like straight up. Like,
holy crap!
And now you're reading like the epic ones. Apparently.
Yeah, I know.
So
I'm reading the
it's a
best
wild
ones
ride.
ever. It's just I just can't believe how rich it is, and to go from Rise Red Blade, which I didn't love, I will admit, to
next week.
This
Big
we'll talk about next week.
Stay tuned.
That's right. Next week is our roundtable to a Sanderson novel. Is like, this is very different. Very different.
Yeah.
So, excited to talk about Red Blade though next week though.
Yeah, I'm excited. Wes, it's going to be great. We're going to be having a get-together later this year. And Wes doesn't know, actually. Wes, plug your ears. We're going to tie Wes to a chair Clockwork Orange style and put his eyes open and make him read all of Mistborn. It's going to be a great time. I'm very excited about it.
As long as either Charles or Corey are the ones that administer the eye drops, then
there we go.
That's no, I would be bad. I'd be like, I would just be like shooting water into your eyes. Would not be good.
I'll give it to you out of the eye drop container. Eric will put it in one of those restaurant ketchup containers. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's like high pressure. You know what I'm saying?
It'd be awesome. Well, I'm excited for that, but what I'm even more excited for is the continual support that I feel every single day, hour, and minute from our Patreon community over at patreon.com/Utini. And we want to give a huge thank you to Tim Costello, who returned as a monthly patron this past week. Thank you so much, and to everyone over there. We have a couple of updates for you this week. So, number one, we have an exclusive Patreon roundtable that got recorded this past weekend. That is, let me see here. It is without, I don't think, any of our regular hosts, which is really exciting. There's a bunch of Utini team members that don't usually get to hang out, and they did roundtable on Servants of the Empire, which is a Rebels junior novel series that came out like 10 years ago that our Utini team has continuously been obsessed with. So we finally decided, hey, you know what, you guys, go ahead, check it out, do a roundtable about it. So over on Patreon, keep your eyes peeled. And fun fact, if you are a Spotify user, you can finally get that info on your Spotify feed. That's right. After what feels like an eternity of incompetence, Patreon audio feeds are finally now available on Spotify, everybody, as of this week. All you have to do, go to Patreon, check out the announcement that we made. Tim put up a great write-up in there for more info, how to access it. So if you have been a person that loves using Spotify for music, but you've had your Patreon podcast feed through Apple Podcasts, because that's usually how it's had to work, or you listen in the Patreon app, and you want it all to be in Spotify, go check out the announcement. We tell you how to do it. Thank you, Patreon, the entity, for
really
doing
smooth.
that. Yeah.
It's really smooth.
Yeah.
It's really good. I tested it, actually. It works super, super well. You just basically search for the podcast. I forget what Tim named it. It's like the Utini Network podcast or something like that. And if you're not a patron, it like says, hey, this is a paid podcast, and it will ask you to sign up for Patreon. It's like really a smooth experience, and it's a lot better than the Patreon app, because in my opinion, the Patreon app is not very good. It hasn't really changed in like the 3 years we've been using Patreon, which is kind of disappointing. But yeah, it's on Spotify now, and it works really, really well. So check that out for sure.
It's going to be great. So thank you, everyone over there. Hope you're enjoying that. Now, okay, we have a request in the chat from Stephanie Mack for all of our video viewers. Yes, there's a new book behind me. It's coming out in like 2 months, so hold on. But I did get a copy of Crimson Climb by E.K. Johnston. Unfortunately/fortunately, this is just the uncorrected paperback proof. It's flimsy. Can we hear that?
I can hear it.
It's nice and flimsy. That's the quality you get for paying for this podcast. It's a paperback copy, so hopefully we get the hardcover later when it comes out. But this guy is going to come your way, I don't know, 2 months. So I just needed something new behind me. Stephanie Good Eyes.
I don't know how
All
much
right.
they actually changed from those paperback versions to the full version.
Not at all. Really
It
not
doesn't
at all.
seem like it's just editing stuff, usually like spelling errors and stuff.
Yeah, spelling errors, some quotes are different. And the biggest thing is that if you're watching the video here, on the spine, this copy, it has like let's see if it gets maybe it'll focus up, not on my face. Yeah, it just says 10/23 for when it comes out on the spine.
Okay.
What? We know that? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for the copy, Disney Lucasfilm. I'm going to be telling you all about that in 2 months. But in the meantime, make sure to head over to patreon.com/Utini for all that fun new content. And now we have a little bit more of a serious yet also hilarious topic to talk about. But we need to go first to the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
It's the Star Wars Weekly Roundup.
All right, so the last few weeks, some of you may have noticed that we've been really gearing towards some of our earlier influences on this show by talking only Star Wars books. We've been talking about those all during the life of this podcast, but in the last year or so, we've kind of talked a little bit more about the shows and films. That has been hindered because of the current SAG WGA strike. If you're talking about this in the future, I'm so glad they're paying the writers now. But in the present, they're not. So, according to the guidelines that have been set out by SAG and the WGA, they've requested, even for non-union podcasters and folks, to avoid promotion of struck work. Therefore, there may or may not be Star Wars projects coming out very soon that we won't be necessarily covering as we usually would on this podcast. So, just as a heads up for y'all, that's why this has happened, and we don't want you to be assuming that something's coming that's not. But, in a funny turn of events... This week, on the picket line, in front of Disney. So for those of you that may not know, every day for the last 100 plus days, writers and actors have been going up and down the in front of like Netflix, NBC, Disney, Amazon, all these places to literally form picket lines with signs and everything because they're striking for fairer wages. In front of Disney this week, Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson, who were two of the screenwriters on, I believe it was going to be Rey's upcoming movie. They got let go of the project, but they were picketing and they got interviewed. And they were asked many things like, are you guys feeling good about the strike? Do you think that it's going well? Like all these kind of things. And at one point, they were asked about picketing. And Damon Lindelof noted, quote, "It's more fun than writing a Star Wars movie, I will say that." The fellas.
That is a red flag, guys.
Yeah, like, so, well, we're not necessarily promoting the future work, but in talking about this, any sirens going off there? Because, my God, that's the most blunt kind of behind-the-scenes quote we've gotten in a long time.
Yeah, we talked about this earlier before we went live. It doesn't seem like they're trying to get back in from that particular remark, right?
Yeah, I think I pointed out like how bad would it have to be that like writers in the very early stages of a film have such a huge disagreement with the higher ups that like they're willing to walk over it. I mean, I don't know. We've been saying forever that like it's very problematic how many projects have come on the slate and then fallen off the slate. How many directors have come and gone? How many freaking directors did Solo have by the end of it? Like
3?
The two guys from the Lego film.
Yeah, Lord and Miller were there, and then Ron Howard finished it up, and then there were scenes from both of them that were in there, and then even since then, like I think when you
didn't Rogue One had different films, different directors too, I believe. Rogue One had different directors,
and
the other guy.
Oh, did Tony Gilroy direct part of it or just write part of it? Anyway,
anyway,
multiple people going through for sure. Absolutely. Well, hey, I mean, JJ wasn't even supposed to direct Rise of Skywalker.
I know. Right. JJ did one. Ryan Johnson had a trilogy. Doesn't have a trilogy. Like, what is Patty Jenkins in? Then she's out. Then she's maybe still in. Like, what the hell? Like, I'm just so uncomfortable with all of this stuff. It feels to me like this is exactly what George Lucas wanted to avoid, is where we are right now with the current Star Wars franchise. And like, I know that he sold the only he agreed to sell to Disney, and he said Kathleen Kennedy is the only person I would ever trust to do it. But I don't think Kathleen Kennedy exclusively has as much power as maybe George would have originally wanted. It sounds like it's a mess, and that makes me really mad. And it's so obvious that even after all this time, Disney still doesn't have their shit together as far as producing these films. And I hope this strike gets drug out and Disney eventually caves and we actually see some real progress forward, because that's a pretty brutal statement that standing outside in the hot sun with signs and chanting stuff is better than writing a Star Wars film. And I know they said it in jest, and this is not meant to be a literal statement, but to throw Star Wars as a franchise under the bus is the first thing that comes to mind. It's pretty shitty. So
and I think they said something like and then Justin said after that something along the lines of like fight the Empire or something like that, which is good, but there is no kind of denying the metaphor of like the little guys with not a lot of resources trying to stand up against the big guys that have a lot of the power. And it has been heartening though in the last few weeks. You talk about the strike being kind of drug out. Obviously, us as content creators and fans want to be able to enjoy and celebrate all the things that are coming out, and we want the things to film and be written. Like, everyone wants to work. But a lot of the top earners in Hollywood, I'm not sure if you guys saw this, I think it was a couple weeks ago, they had a list of like 10 or 15 actors that had all donated at least $1 million towards this fund that pays for writers and actors, over, I think, 85% of which can't afford health insurance for $26,000 a year. There's a fund that they have for these writers while they're striking so they can pay their rent and they can eat. and all these A-listers are donating millions of dollars that they have just to help out these struggling writers. So like, it's been really nice to see the solidarity, and hopefully in the Star Wars community and the actors and writers that are making this stuff.
Dude, did you see? Did you see that information that came out that the writers that wrote was it WandaVision this week? Did you guys see this shit?
Yes.
The writers that wrote WandaVision says that they collectively, all of them, were paid $8,000 total that they split amongst all of them to write the entire show.
What?
Yeah.
WandaVision. $8,000 for a multi-million-dollar project.
Yep.
That is freaking believable.
And the VFX artists were working 18-hour days, and they were told at one point, until the final episode was done, there would be no more days off or weekends, and they were already working 18 hours a day.
That's insane. It's insane.
So, I mean,
that's insane. Yes, that's the only word is insanity.
It is. Yeah. That's like beyond just sleeping at the office insanity. 18
right.
hours. I work 12-hour shifts myself, and I cannot imagine 18 hours. I mean, that's nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts.
And I had a feeling they're not exactly getting all the overtime.
No, of course not.
So
no, there's no way. There's no way.
We're hoping that they'll, again, get unionized. So going forward, the second it's done, again,
we'll talk.
You know, Star Wars fans
we will talk about the possible nearly finish about to air unnamed show. We'll talk about that eventually.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, we talk about a 50-year-old movie all the time. We got no problem.
Not now, though.
Back.
I'm not interested in talking about it. I'll talk about it with my friends, and I'm sorry that we can't talk about it here, but like,
it's their fault.
It is their fault. I mean, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this initially. About like,
we've talked a lot about this behind the scenes.
We have. Everybody's talking a lot about it. We've talked to the other creators in the Star Wars space, and everybody is talking about this. What are we supposed to do? Like, are we just not supposed? Wait, we're not getting paid. I mean, our numbers are shit. All right, we're not getting paid. So
we're doing what we can, man.
But at the same time, I want to show my support. I think Disney has, in a lot of ways, squandered this franchise, and they paid a fortune for it and instantly got an amazing return on their investment for it. And I think it's pretty easy to make the argument that what George originally intended for this franchise, the way that he set up the rights, it was so unheard of at the time to retain the toy rights and the merchandise. It was so unheard of, and to open his own studio, Lucasfilm, to create everything, to open his own sound design studio to create everything, it was unheard of in the 70s, right? So like, I just feel like it goes against everything that George wanted for this franchise, the way that Disney has kind of treated it. And I don't care about, I'm not talking about The Last Jedi hate or any of the sequel hate. I'm not talking about any of that crap. I'm just talking about, the way that they've not had any plans, the way that they've mistreated everybody. John Boyega's comments about how poorly he was treated. Like, there's a long list. If you were to bullet point all the problems that we've had the last decade since Disney made this purchase.
It sounds like nobody's being held responsible, or there's no credible person to take that blame or take that ball that they've screwed up, and somebody needs to own up for it, and nobody really has. It's just like, we're a corporation, we'll just spread out the blame to everybody, and everybody gets a sprinkle of blame, but it's not enough. I mean, it's not enough to change anything.
And when our CEO is saying in a public interview that, well, eventually, the writers are gonna not be able to pay their rent, so we'll be fine. Notice how no other CEOs have been giving interviews since that moment. You guys notice that? Iger's the only one they interviewed, and then they're like, Netflix, Max are like, nope, we're not talking to the press.
Silent. Netflix has not said a damn thing about this. This has been crazy how little the streaming services have had to say, and I mean, rightfully so. I mean, it's really hard to not just totally turn on, somebody that was crazy. He was celebrated like less than a month ago when he replaced the other. The other dickhead. We talked about that.
Yeah,
like,
your job was so easy, man.
Show.
If you give away like 0.1% of what you got, you're a hero. That's it. Like the demands are so little. They're so little, y'all. So anyway, we will be talking about the things we love. We'll be talking about books, and like we said, next week our Rise of the Red Blade discussion will be happening, and then we're already preliminarily planning, I think, a really a really fascinating discussion that I'm really excited to have with you guys, and then also all you at home the week after next. Something's kind of brewing that we've been thinking about a lot, and it's kind of like the perfect time to bring it up. So look forward to that. But in the meantime, of course, you got to get your pre-orders in, everyone, because you know who's not striking and who's never made too much money? The book community, everyone. So please don't interpret a strike as not helping authors, because from a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi comes out August 29th. The review, and I checked my email again, the strict review embargo is up tomorrow, because I wanted to say like a sentence today, and the word strict is literally in my email. So next week, I'll probably give a little my initial thoughts on it. But of course, that's coming out August 29th, and The High Republic Tales of Light and Life is out September 5th. You get a book, you get Starfield Early Access, and then you get a book. You can tell what I'm really thinking about a lot in my life. So go to utini.com release schedule and make sure you get those going. We're very excited for all those. All right, tonight now, though, now that we're past unions and we're past all these folks, let's talk about something fun, like seeing if we remember anything we've read in the last 10 years. Everyone, it is trivia night. The three of us are going to do a little bit of book trivia. I've compiled some questions, and much like Whose Line Is It Anyway tonight, the points don't matter. The questions are made up. But we're going to go just around and quiz each other a little bit in the chat. There was some early talk here. If we're wrong about something, tell us. If we're a little bit wrong, be a little pedantic, have a little bit of fun. And if you got any questions you want us to throw into the mix that you think will stump us, also let us know. You want to see us suffer? We know this. It's fine. We accept it.
Listen, the only thing that I want to say is I'm seeing the same panic on Wes's face that I'm feeling, because I'm looking at these questions. These questions are hard as shit, Eric. Where did you get? Where did you get so many of these? These are so hard. How are we going to do
I would like
this?
to
Behind the scenes,
I would like to preface before we even start. I have read all of the books, the canon books, since the start of Master and Apprentice on the show. Okay, I've read them all. I swear to you that I have. That's it. Now, when these questions come up, I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance around the answer,
hard.
okay? I'm gonna dance around the answer as much as I can.
I'm not looking at these until literally just now, and I'm like getting real scared. I'm not sure I'm gonna get any of these right. We're gonna see.
It's gonna be great. Okay, I'll start off with you guys. We're just gonna go in a circle. One of us will ask the other two, and you can work together if you like to. I'll start you off with a nice one. So let's see here. Okay, gentlemen, in Bloodline by Claudia Gray. What scandalous revelation about Leia Organa's parentage threatens her political career with the New Republic?
Well, that one's easy. I know that one. Wes, you know this one? Have you read Bloodline?
I haven't read Bloodline. I haven't read the Bloodline.
All right.
All right. What would be a scandalous revelation about her parentage, Wes? What would if something came out about Leia's parentage? What could maybe make her political career take a dive?
That possibly the parents were working with the rebels.
That's actually a good answer. That's actually a pretty good answer. That's not the answer we're looking for, but that's actually a pretty damn good answer, actually.
Wes has already broken the game.
I know.
I thought that was so freaking easy that, like, of course it was that, right?
All right. So we'll check the judges. Corey, what do you think it is?
In Bloodline, the big drama that comes out, everybody finds out that Princess Leia's daddy is Darth Vader. And
yeah, that's correct.
The revelation about Daddy Vader almost undoes her
whole career.
Okay.
Now,
but
one of the cool things
that
about
was strong.
Bloodline
That was
too-
strong. That was really good guess, Wes. Seriously, I was like, both of us we froze. We were like thinking about it for a second. We're like, shit, that might be it actually.
Also, shout out to Wes. Adopted parents are parents all around. Doesn't matter just blood. It doesn't matter just your bloodline. It's the point of that book.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
There was some fun. I believe it was the Barnes and Noble edition of Bloodline. Because after each question, we'll if we know anything about the books, we'll let you guys know. I believe there was a poster that came out with like Leia and like a propaganda poster of like For the Republic or something. And then if you flipped it, there was a graffitied version of it where they graffitied Vader's mask onto Leia's face. And it was like
Oh.
back when they used to do promo for the books with like art pieces and stuff. So that was one of my favorites.
So
But
hold on a
okay,
second. How exactly would that look if we put Darth Vader's mask on Leia's face? Like,
I know,
wouldn't it
Wes, you
just
pull
be
that
a?
up?
Would it just be a? Would it just be an arbitrary humanoid with a Darth Vader mask
Yeah.
on?
Yeah,
You can't
yeah.
tell
It's this,
Leia.
here,
Right.
Wes, I'm gonna put it in our Slack channel
All
for
right.
you. Corey, don't look at the Slack channel. Yeah, this was one of the. See, back in the day, when like I said, they used to do original posters. Aftermath had some posters and stuff like that too, which was really cool. But yeah, this was like a poster you could get with the book, and I gotta say it's Barnes and Noble because that had all the foldouts. But yeah, this was
Interesting.
it is like a Banksy Aaron
It's a
actually.
Banksy.
It looks kind of like it.
That's
But
good.
yeah, this was really rad, and God, Wes, I can't believe you broke it on the first one. Yeah, check this out. This is sick.
Oh my god, that is
Okay.
dope as hell.
Pretty cool.
Is that a real
Liar.
poster? It was a real poster. This
Yeah.
was the size of a. What was? I guess it was probably 8.5 by 11. I guess. Probably.
Yeah, like a fold out or something, I assume. But yeah,
Interesting.
Oh, I'd
we
love
used to
that
be
for
a
the
proper
cover.
country.
Okay, so for our audio listeners, this is it's like a join up now type of poster for the rebellion, and it
Yeah.
says protect the republic, and it would have had what was the crap? What was her name? The mechanic from World War II, the lady. She's always like pumping iron.
Oh,
and
Rosie the
stuff.
Riveter.
Yeah.
Yes, Rosie the
Yeah,
Riveter.
yeah.
It's kind of like it's a little bit like that, but it would have been Princess Leia, but it's got a kind of like it looks kind of like Anakin's torn mask actually from
it
like
does,
the,
doesn't it?
Yeah, from
Yep.
the Kenobi show. So half the
Like
face
it's a
is
stencil.
this is dope. It says liar on it. I've never
Yep.
seen this before. I've never seen this image before. This is really
Yeah.
good.
Well, because there was an alternate version of it that was just that without the graffiti. It's just like her vote Leia first senator like poster, and then you got this version as well. So there you go.
Interesting. Well,
Bloodline, man.
the first trivia question has already brought in more trivia that I didn't know about. So there we go. That was good.
Love it. All right, you know what, Wes? Because you broke that so hard and did such a great job, go to our doc here. Pick out another random question. We'll see if Corey and I can also similarly give 2 correct answers.
All right, let me find a real easy one, you jerks. Here we go.
They're all easy when you're looking at the answers, which is what
Yeah,
I
I know.
realize now after I took the answers away.
So, in Resistance Reborn, jog your memories, boys. Resistance Reborn by Rebecca Roanhorse. Which former New Republic senator turned First Order sympathizer seeks redemption by aiding the resistance in recruiting allies?
Oh shit! What was that guy's name? He was in Bloodline.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah, he wasn't blood.
It starts with the R.
I knew that.
Yes.
It starts with an R.
Ransom Casturfo. Ransom Casturfo.
No. You're not thinking. You're not thinking correctly here. It should
No?
be. It's not. It's not. The answer. Do you want to keep? You want to keep guessing? It's
No, I'll
not.
Okay, all right. So what's the question?
Say it
Read
again. Say it again.
In Resistance Reborn, which former New Republic senator turned First Order sympathizer seeks redemption by aiding the resistance in recruiting
Oh.
allies?
Well, you went to the First Order first.
I don't
That's a
think
good question.
Ransom Casturfo was a.
Yeah,
No, he
that's
wasn't.
right.
That's
He
a
was
good
just-
point.
he
But
just
Ransom did show up in that.
Yeah.
He did show up in
He
that book.
collected
remember?
Nazi memorabilia. That's what
He was.
he was literally
yeah.
that guy in Bloodline, like, hey, I like history. What
He's really
period of
sh-
history?
He was really
Like-
shitty. I know.
Okay,
yeah, exactly.
Ooh.
First Order sympathizer.
it's
I don't
a-
remember who became a First Order sympathizer. Was it the fat guy from the Twilight Planet? Was it that asshole?
yeah, oh my
No.
gosh, yeah.
I don't.
Former New Republic senator.
New
turned
Republic
first-
Senator.
Yes.
It's not during First Order sympathizer.
Dude, I have no freaking idea.
No,
Nope.
Gallius Rex. No.
Corey, you're on the right track. Corey, you're on the right track.
Okay, New
It is.
Republic.
It is a. I'll give you that. It is a Twi'lek. It is a Twi'lek.
Oh, is
Is
it
it
Yendor?
It is Yendor, sir.
Yendor.
Yendor.
Dude, who
He's
the
from
hell
Lost
is
Stars.
Yendor? I don't remember that guy at all. He was in Lost Stars?
Me neither.
Yeah.
Dude, I
Wow.
have no memory of who the hell that is. I'm gonna have to Google that right now.
Yeah,
Yendor?
well, let me pull
What's
it up.
his-
Yendor.
Yendor Star Wars.
First Order Resistance War. He started a family of his own.
Here's a. Oh man, I think this is a fan's drawing of Yendor.
Hey,
It
what's
looks
up,
like a-
Yendor?
Hey, look at
It
you.
looks like, an
Yo!
RP, looks like an RPG character.
Yeah, it does.
Oh my
Says
God,
he was a
100%.
member. Says he was a member of Corona Squadron. That's the,
Oh, yeah,
that's the
with Thane.
squadron.
Yeah.
That's the squadron I would be a member of as well.
Corona.
Oh my God,
Squadron.
absolutely it is.
With you and Snoop Dogg and.
We should write a
Tony
fan
Romo?
fiction, Wes. We'll write a fan fiction.
No,
The Corona
we're not.
Squadron is led by, led by Snoop Dogg.
Future episode right there.
There you go. That's good.
All right. Okay, these are stumpy. I like them so far. Corey,
Oh,
hit me in
Lord.
West. What do you got? What do you got?
All right. Let's see here. Okay.
not gonna
Let's
look.
do. Let's
Not gonna
do. Oh, I'm gonna go with the Tarkin. Here we go, Tarkin. Neither one of
Oh,
you guys
of
have read
course.
Tarkin. I don't
No.
think though. Have you?
Nope.
You only read Tarkin.
Let's
All right.
see
All
if
right.
we
Shit.
can
I
get
can't
it
ask
by the
that. then.
context
No,
clues.
go.
You want me to
Go
go
for
for it? You've never read it though.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In the book Tarkin by James Luceno, what ship does Wilhuff Tarkin hold? And there's a hint. It says it was a prototype Imperial starship.
I actually know this one. I think because I think it's his ship later as well.
Is it his ship
Any
later
ideas?
as well?
Any ideas, Wes? Think about, I guess, Imperial. I don't have the answers up,
Yeah.
actually. I
Oh,
don't, I don't want to
think
look. 'cause I have too
Stephanie
bad
in the
ADHD.
chat is what I would have said.
Oh, shit. That's
Is that it?
that's a great, that's the name of his ship. The
Carrion Spike?
It comes across on the screen. Is it the Carrion Spike?
Is
Yeah.
it Carrion Spike?
Is it the
I don't know.
Vindicator?
That's the name of his personal ship. But here, let me find the answer key. Hold on.
Or
Yeah,
is
I think
it
that's
what
his
type
ship.
of
It
ship or
gets
the
in
name of the
Tarkin,
ship?
doesn't it?
It is the Carrion Spike. That is very good.
Nice.
That's a prototype. Oh, I'm gonna look this up. The
Oh
Carrion
wow!
Spike.
Look at this.
I also tried to vet the accuracy of these questions as much as I could. And then
That is the name of
sometimes-
his ship in
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
geez.
gosh! Look at that
No,
phallic
holy-
monster.
it looks like it looks like the stealth ship in that Clone Wars episode. You remember with Anakin
Oh my
versus
god!
the
Yes.
spider guy? That's what it looks like.
Admiral Trench. Yeah.
Trench. That guy was badass.
Trench.
It was
Oh,
that was
God.
a great episode.
It looks like it
Anakin
should-
just stabbed him. Like, why? He was gonna blow up the ship.
It looks like
Fantastic.
It should be in the Denver, Colorado airport.
What the hell?
That is the most specific reference.
I know. Yeah,
There's
that
all,
was fantastic.
there's all these
Fantastic, Stephanie.
There's all these
This is
phallic
like-
references to the Denver airport. You can look it up on YouTube. It's ridiculous. But
Oh my
okay.
god.
This is like the
Okay.
it's like the ask the audience in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
But that was
All right,
pretty
let's see if there's any more trivia about the Carrion Spike.
Yeah,
it
I
was
know more about the ship.
it was gifted to Tarkin.
That's a good gift.
Let's see. Here.
My goodness.
That's when he was stationed Sentinel base in the Outer Territories. What is he
Carrion
searching
Spike.
ChatGPT?
I'm gonna see if it works.
No,
Oh, this isn't bad. In which
Is
Star
it
Wars
true?
novel does the ship Carrion Spike play a significant role, and what is its importance within the story? Oh, that's like a paragraph answer whenever you take a test. That's not even fair. It's just like, how about you just let me answer A, B, or C? And it is the Carrion Spike is a Corellian corvette that plays a significant role in the Star Wars novel Tarkin by James Luceno. See, there you go.
Interesting.
So we
now
were
this
right.
is where I tell y'all that I did. So I used ChatGPT to get a lot of these questions done. And fun fact: once you hit a certain number, it just starts recycling the titles and trivia questions that are just incorrect, which is really fun. 'Cause it's like, what in what story by Ray Carson was Leia's raising on Corellia? It was like mixing Most Wanted and Princess of Alderaan into one story by like multiple people.
This
It was
also,
wild.
I think the ship came back in maybe the Poe Dameron comic. Actually, like it kind of talks about. There's a whole
Oh!
thing about. It says
Yeah.
it was discovered by Terex. You remember that guy? Is that that's
Yeah,
the
the
gang
cyborg
leader?
dude.
Yeah, the same. Yeah. And
Yeah.
he used as his personal
God.
transport in the like when he was fighting against Poe in Black Squadron in that comic.
Wow.
That's a pretty good throwback, actually.
is.
I wonder if
Great throwback. I love that comic. That was like the first run that Charles Soule did, I think.
I think it was. I think you're right. Yeah.
That comic was really good.
I read that a
Should've been
while
lame.
ago. All right, cool.
Oh,
All right, Eric,
wow.
back to you.
Okay. Whew. Let's do. Oh, here we go. What is the name of the planet visited by Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi in Claudia Gray's and book Wes has definitely read, Master and Apprentice.
Oh my God, the Queen Planet. What was the damn name? It was really great story building about this planet. Remember, it was
Yeah.
like
This
it was
book
all
rocks, y'all.
It's like it was like underground kind.
Yeah,
It wasn't
They had colon crystals, remember?
coal.
Yeah, they were weren't they orange, right?
They're orange.
I
Yeah.
can't believe you remember that. I pictured this. It was like you know how you've seen those like those homes and stuff like from the ancient peoples. They're like carved into the caves. Like you can't get to them from like the top. You can't see them. But they're, like, on the walls and shit. That's why I pictured it. We talked about it like that. Oh man, Master Apprentice is terrible.
Yeah,
it's almost a terrible.
so
It's really, really good. It's a terribly good book.
yeah,
No, it's like, what are you
it's
saying?
a great memory.
Like my
But
top
yeah,
five,
I'll get-
I think probably.
Here, I'll give you
All
guys
right,
this.
planet,
The planet starts with
planet.
a P. I would not have been able to remember this.
Dude, I do not remember how many syllables
Oh,
is it.
I wasn't
Two.
even thinking P. I was thinking C. I'm out of here.
Yeah. The thing is,
P.
Wes, that's a different letter.
Dude, I have
silent.
no idea what
P
this
is
is
silent.
called. The P is silent. No, it's not. I have
No, it's
idea.
not.
No.
All right, the planet is Pijal. P-I-J-A-L.
I never would have
Pijal.
got that. Never would have
Dude,
got it.
I never would have got that.
Pijal.
Gun to my head, I would not have remembered that.
Has Pajal showed up anywhere else other than Master and Apprentice?
Let's find out. I
Let's
don't
look
think
up
so.
Pajal.
But Claudia, but the thing is, they seem to throw their own planets they make into all their stories. So
I know, they just make them all up.
Let's see if
maybe-
I can find other references here.
oh, I forgot about this. That's when the Zerka system from KOTOR was mentioned in that
This
book.
is a long ass
Oh,
Wikipedia article.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
it's
it
like
is.
I had to.
But is it
so-
all from just that book?
No,
No,
so
no,
Master
Dooku
and
Jedi
Apprentice
Lost and Brotherhood both
and
mentioned
Brotherhood.
it too.
Oh, sick.
How about that?
Well, there we go.
How about that?
Well, how about that?
It is in Star
have
Wars. Knights of the
flashbacks in
Republic. How
Dooku.
about that?
Yeah, well, yeah, because Rail
Zerka?
Averross was in
Rail.
this one, and then of course in
Why is there a KOTOR reference right there? What is that? What is that
because the
comment?
Zerka Corporation that was
Yeah,
mentioned.
right.
Oh.
Ah,
Came
I
from
remember
KOTOR.
now.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember that. That's a
The
cool
author felt
callback.
that Jin's morale compass made him feel conflicted about his Jedi mandate on Pajal of signing the governance treaty because it supported the Zerka's enslavement practices. That's a deep pull. That's a deep pull.
That is a deep pull. Bringing back Zerka. This is the book that brought Zerka into canon. They were
Yeah.
they were like a huge part of the KOTOR games. Also, the image at the top of this is the alternative cover. You guys remember this one at Celebration?
Oh my God, yeah, I do.
Yeah, you remember,
this
I
guy
got
right
this
here?
book. I got this book. You remember? Remember how I got it? Like the security guy at Celebration just like dropped the gate right in front of me, and I just like strolled in
Oh,
and got
yeah.
it. Like I was at the front of the line by accident.
Yeah.
Oh, you have it? I didn't know you
Boom,
had this.
baby. Yeah, this was
Hey, man.
back in the. Yeah, I wasn't at that celebration, but it was like one of the people I think in our Utini Facebook group or something. DM'd me. It was like, "Hey, I got one. I guess I don't really want it. You want it for cost?" And I had another friend that was there who I knew from theater, and I texted and put them together, and I PayPal'd the guy, and then she gave me the book. So yeah,
That's awesome.
there you go.
Yeah, that's really
Much
good.
love to Master and Apprentice.
That's really good. This book was fantastic. I read it in one sitting, the whole book. Probably
Oh,
a 300-page, 400-page novel.
Yeah,
I
not-
read it in
not
one
short.
sitting. Yeah, it was. I read it for like
Pidgeot.
11 hours straight. Great book. I forgot about this
Pidgeot.
book. When did the book come out? What year was this?
29.
19.
No.
I don't know.
19? 2018. 2018, 2019. Master and Apprentice. I think it was 2018. 2019. It was. April 2019.
2019. That's
I'll never
The year
doubt you
before the-
again, Wes. Oh, thanks, Eric. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I'll always doubt you a little bit. Come on. A little bit? A teeny bit? All right, good stuff.
Okay.
All right, hey, Wes, not that I doubt you, but choose the next one you'd like.
Okay. I'm gonna give you an
Man.
easy one. This is an easy one. All right. I'll give you
I
the
don't know if I
hint,
trust
I'll
you.
give you the hints later. Now then, let's let chat decide what the answer is before you answer, but don't look at chat. Look at chat.
Okay.
It's
A lot of rules. You're just making up, Wes.
It's like playing Wordle, but looking at chat. Okay. What is the title of the Star Wars canon novel by Kevin Hearn that focuses on the character Luke Skywalker as he searches for a new location for the Jedi Order?
Well, Kevin Hearn wrote one book.
Yeah, I know. That's what made it so easy.
Is it Heir to the Jedi? Is that the one he wrote?
Wait for everybody to
Oh,
guess.
shit. Sorry.
One rule.
Yes, it's
Wes
Heir to the
made up
Jedi.
like
Yeah.
3 rules. There were more than one rule. It was like
Too
3
many.
rules. Too many rules.
Yeah.
Yes, it's Heir to the
100%. Corey is
Jedi.
becoming an AI. Only one rule at a time.
Stephanie was right
Yeah,
before you even
100%.
announced it. All right.
That's right. The chat's delayed. It doesn't matter.
Before I even read the question, I assumed the answer was Heir to the Empire, and I was about to go on a diatribe about how it's the first book I ever read, and blah 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 blah. And I'm glad I didn't because it was the wrong book. This is Heir to the Jedi, and not Heir to the
Wrong
Empire.
book, wrong author, and about
Wrong, yeah.
20 years off.
Wrong like series of books and from legends to canon. So
That said, this book holds the record for being, while a bad book, the best Brazilian alternative cover out there.
Is that
You know
real?
that? Yeah.
Yeah, Wes. You know what you have
Wes
to
got to
do.
pull up the Heir to the
Looking
Jedi
for it.
Brazil cover. This was like my there's a
Book was
textless
trash.
version. Oh yeah, but this
It's
cover was my
terrible.
desktop background. I think for a couple of years.
Holy smokes, really?
Yo, okay.
Yeah.
And I can understand
Yeah.
why.
Let's see it. Let's
Here
see
it
it. Let's see it.
comes.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Okay.
No whammies, no whammies, no whammies. Look at that,
Holy shit! That's the cover for the Brazil.
Brazilian. Yeah,
Damn,
God,
that's
that is
good.
All right,
Look at
all right,
that.
audio listeners, you gotta Google this. If you're driving on the road, you just pull
pull
over.
over,
Look this up right now.
straight up.
That is a very good cover. Oh my god,
Yeah.
that is beautiful.
Yeah,
Who's
there-
that? Who's the other person? Who's that chick?
I don't know. She's another trivia question. I think I know that. I don't know her name, but
It looks like they're.
oh, hey, dude, part 2. What's her name? Anybody know?
Yeah,
Because that is a question. I think I
Dude,
remember
I
them
don't
adding
know.
in here.
I never,
I didn't read
I've
this
only,
book.
I've read it. It's terrible. I read it in a long time ago, right when it first came out. It was awful. It's the noodle
see.
book. It's the book with the noodles. He's
Noodles,
sitting at a
yes.
picnic table and he uses the force in the noodles, and whoever
Who?
he's sitting across from patronizes him. I think
Yeah.
it's her.
Her name is Nakari Kalen, apparently. I think.
Mm.
Wait. No, maybe. Yeah, Nakari. Oh man, there's more. Her Wikipedia is also just straight up very attractive. Just great. Nakari Kalen is her name.
Are you sure it's not colon?
No! If you Google her, a Tumblr post comes up and it's titled "The Case of Nakari Kalen." It's cold in that fridge, which
Oh,
is a
dear.
reference to the fridging. I wonder what happens to her in that book.
That is unfortunate.
Yikes!
That is
Great
unfortunate.
cover, though.
And also, just in
Wow.
case you joined us a couple weeks back when we did the canon tier rankings,
Oh,
our
yeah.
if you're joining with us online, you can see that Heir to the Jedi is all the way at the very top. You see there at the very top? No, it's not at the top. It is. It's
Yep.
actually the last book. It's the last book in
Literally
the
the
tier
last
rankings.
book.
But I don't think it's a terrible cover. We'll give it
No,
that.
it's not that bad of a
Even the
cover.
regular
I'll give
cover is
that.
fine. The Brazil cover is astonishing.
Yes, it is.
It's just
Yes, it is.
everything between the two covers that's the issue.
She is very attractive in this Wikipedia
Yeah.
image. You're not wrong.
yeah, you see what I was like? Oh,
What's the
cool.
we should explain the refrigerator joke in case we have new listeners who've never
Yeah.
heard this.
You do.
This because this is
Yeah.
fascinating to me. This is a really great concept that I've
Yeah.
that
So like
what's it called? It's called women in refrigerators.
Women in refrigerators was a trope that was called out because there was a huge problem in comics and media as a whole of basically female characters getting killed off in order to further men's stories, and that's the only reason they existed. And it came to fruition in, I believe, it was in 1999 was when this really became popularized because Kyle Rayner, the Green Lantern at the time, had a girlfriend who in the comic was killed and literally stuffed in a refrigerator for the sole purpose of making him like, oh no, my God, and then propelling him down. Yeah, this is it. So these women basically said, yo, we are not just things to be put in refrigerators for men. So now when a woman is brought into a story expressly for the sole purpose of being killed in order so the man can be sad.
I've never heard of that before.
Women in refrigerators,
Really?
Yeah.
It's a really interesting concept. There's a website that like chronicles every incident this has ever happened. It was huge in comics, especially in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I can see it in comics for sure. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Peter Parker has had multiple girlfriends killed off that just moved his story forward. So it's a very interesting concept and is a cool. It's a cool example of sort of feminism pushing forward like a change in comics. We don't see this as much anymore, which is good.
Yeah.
Finally, good. But yes, this character is absolutely a woman in a refrigerator character in this book, and you know.
But God, what a cover!
What a cover! What a cover! What a
Good
cover!
on that Brazilian artist for like, you know what? They're like, hey, listen, we're not gonna give you the book to read. Instead, it's Luke Skywalker, and there's also a woman in a glorious forest. He's like, I gotcha. That's great. It's probably cool. It wasn't.
See if we can find it.
The book's not cool.
Yeah,
The book
not
is
cool,
real uncool. Kevin Hearn, what has he done?
Kevin Hearn.
Let's see here.
He actually he co-writes with Delilah Dawson outside of Star Wars some stuff.
Really?
But that's the only Star Wars he's done.
In Reddit, somebody had said this cover art is better than the book. Like, yes.
Oh yeah. In all fairness, that cover art would be better than like a lot of books. It just happens to be drastically different. So.
I clicked on this guy's Twitter. He's got a hell of a beard. That's all I got to say.
Oh my God.
It says the art was made by the French studio Two Dots Seed 7. They're amazing and have detailed entire creative process. Cool. So it's actually it's a studio that did it.
Yeah.
Neat.
Okay. Hey, you know what? I don't say this often. Good job, the French. Well done.
Nobody says that very often.
I'll say it.
Sorry,
Hey,
I'm sorry, Alexander.
We have this awesome guy. Tell him about Alexander real quick.
Alexander is fantastic. He's very involved in our marketing team and puts like all the really fantastic graphics you guys have seen. By the way, the show that must not be named that may or may not be coming out in the next couple of months. There is a post about that on our Instagram, and
you made that.
It's very good. It's a very good post.
Yeah.
So.
And every once in a while, he'll come into Slack and realize something that just is about American life, and he's like, "What?"
Yes.
And that is like, we were like, "Oh yeah, no, that is terrible." He's like, "Oh my God."
What did he realize this? It was something about medicine that he realized this week. I don't remember what it was. It was like doctors work awful hours or something like that.
Yeah, the hours of that, the medical, how much you make in medical school, I think. Too,
and
also,
remember what it was? We talked about how I owed the federal government $497,000 this week, and he was like, "Holy shit!"
That was like, "You have to pay to learn to be a doctor?" We're like, "Yeah." That does seem terrible, doesn't it?
That was unfortunate.
Anyway, we love you, buddy, and the French do good work. All right, Corey, off of that amazing cover, pick a better book. You, based on our tier rankings, literally can't go lower, so that's good.
That's true. All right, let's go with another book from a similar era, In a New Dawn by John Jackson Miller. These books were released like very close together, actually.
Very close together.
In a New Dawn by John Jackson Miller. What are the names of the two protagonists, a former Jedi and a freighter pilot, who find themselves caught up in a plot against a mining operation?
I got this one.
This is a true question, Wes.
Yeah.
For you.
For
you, Wes.
For me? Okay.
For the two main characters.
Harrison
They're
Dula.
on the cover. Yep.
Kanan Jarrus.
Yeah!
Very good.
Did I get it wrong? Should I say Caleb Dune or Caleb Dune? Should I say that?
If you're a real fan.
Hot take. That whole Wolf episode with the whole Dune thing, I hated that. So much. That is my absolute hottest take about Rebel. He was like, Dune. I was like,
really?
What does he say? Is he saying Dune? Like the classic 90s video game that led to like the conversations about video games and violence. I know. I thought he said Doom for the longest time because he draws it out. It wasn't until I saw the subtitles that I realized he said Dune.
Yes.
Not
Doom.
Well, so yes, those are their answers. Wes,
I
have another
appreciate
mission
that
for
volley.
you.
Yes.
Guess what? This also has a great Brazilian cover.
Oh, no kidding.
So yeah. So apparently in this era, they're like, hey, you know what? We're doing all these new Star Wars books. The Brazilians should get some good stuff.
I wonder if this is it the same artist? Maybe is it the same artist?
Oh,
That would be
dude.
interesting. That would be
Let's
interesting
find that
because
out. Did
this
they
is
get a
common.
contract?
There's a lot of Brazilian covers that are just
It is
hella good.
It is. I pulled up the image and it's the same Two Dot Studio, the one that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Look at this.
Oh my god, that is also a dope cover.
That's
wow, that looks like
beautiful.
it looks like Dantooine in the KOTOR game actually.
Oh, it 100% does. That's a great pull.
Looks like
Yeah,
that.
They're on
look at-
Dantooine.
Look at
They're on
the
Dantooine.
look at the sharpness of his goatee in this picture. It looks great. Let me zoom in on for
Oh
you
yeah, that
guys.
chin could cut diamonds. Oh my goodness. Look at that.
There's a-
It
there's a
almost looks
pointy
like- yeah.
goatee.
Kanan
New
Jarrus
Dawn.
has like no chin, so he has to grow out that goatee to make him look like he has one.
There's your answer.
Oh.
But yeah,
Oh.
look how awesome that
Brazilian covers.
lightsaber looks. By the way, remember Corey? How you
I also hate
badmouth
the
his
lightsaber.
lightsaber?
Listen, I have a lot of bad opinions about Rebels, unfortunately.
Well, maybe someday we'll talk about him in the context of live action. Who's to say? That'd be fun. Oh goodness.
Thanks for
okay,
that.
here's
Thanks
one.
for that
I got
layup, by the way. I appreciate it.
No, that was good. I got another. Let's see. I got a layup. Oh, here's a good one. Not a layup, but again, one we don't talk about a lot on this show, which I think is fun. Which Star Wars canon book? I'm not even gonna say the author because I'll slightly give it away. Follows the journey of
Won't help
Izzy,
me.
a young adventurer who sets out to explore the dangerous Shadowlands of Batuu.
Izzy.
I can't say the
shit.
author's name.
It's the young adult book. Which one was it? It's not wasn't the adult one. It was the young adult one. Remember, it had a pretty good romance actually.
Oh,
and if
well, I know what it
remember
was. I
correctly.
know what it was.
Go Wes.
I'll hold it. Corey, can you do it?
Oh,
Man, it was
Corey, can you do it?
it had the cave
no,
scene.
It wasn't. Yeah, the cave scene. No, not the cave scene. That's Lost Stars. The waterfall scene.
Oh, right,
It was a
waterfall.
Waterfall.
It was
The
a
other-
waterfall.
Right, the waterfall.
They make out in a waterfall, and it's like kind of hot. I can't remember what
Kinda
the.
hot.
Kind of into it.
It's kind of hot. honestly.
That was hot, guys.
It was shit. What is that book? It's Journey to Batu. It was don't remember. I can't remember. What is it, Wes?
It's a crash of fate.
Master
sure
Fate.
is.
Shit. That's it.
Yeah.
Who is it? That Justina
Zoraida
Ireland?
Cordova.
Zoraida Cordova. That's
Zoraida
right.
Cordova.
This one
Yep.
was a sleeper. We thought this book was we were like, okay, it's gonna be a journey to Batu. It's gonna be like kind of some gimmicky marketing stuff, and it wasn't. It was good.
No, it wasn't. It was good.
It was a
good.
good book.
It was the
Also-
standout
Yeah.
of the two
Man, it
Galaxy's
was.
Edge books.
Oh, for sure. I like
Yeah.
that one more than
What-
Black Spire.
Yeah, for sure.
One cool thing about this is that the cover was also printed on the book itself. So if you take off
That's
the
right.
dust jacket, it
So
actually.
unique.
Everyone do this. Everyone do this, please. It's just
Yeah.
cool. It's
Yeah, it
just
is.
cool.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, in case you take the dust jacket off, you're like, which book does this go to? You can find the one it needs to go to.
Possibly know. Yeah, I have to take my dust jackets off sometimes when I read. Like when I'm reading Stormlight right now, I bought these amazingly cool dust jackets and I like them. But if I'm taking my book places, I just have this
They get destroyed.
yellow book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what exactly is the point of a dust jacket? It's supposed to prevent the book from getting damaged, but like the dust jacket gets destroyed, but the hard cover doesn't get destroyed. So
Yeah, I don't know.
any damage
what is
that would just damage the hardcover is also going to destroy the dust jacket, but the dust jacket doesn't prevent the damage that the
It's a-
hardcover is going to get.
It's an external book cover. That's what it is. Because you use the pages as a book cover, as a bookmark.
Here's a direct definition from Wikipedia.
Oh no.
The dust jacket protects the book covers from damage. However, since it itself is relatively fragile, and since dust jackets have practical, aesthetic, and sometimes financial value, the jacket may in turn be wrapped in another jacket, usually transparent. So it's completely useless.
Why wait? This has never came. We've been doing a podcast about books for like 4 years or some shit. Why have we never talked about how stupid dust jackets
Put a
are?
jacket in a jacket.
Did you ever have to wrap your textbooks?
Yes.
School.
I had to buy them though. I didn't do the. You did the cutout with the paper.
Dude, that
and
was
tape 'em
that
on?
was
I
a,
used
that was
to do
a,
it.
that was a symbol if you had money or not. Is when if you had like the paper, you had not the paper, but the like the the fancy book covers.
the
like
pre-made
fabric
ones that were like fabric.
No.
Yeah, I had fabric ones.
We
I was
did
fancy.
paper grocery bags was the that was like the status symbol. That was the higher. Like if you knew how to cut out a book like your textbook cover from a paper grocery bag, then you were like on it. You knew how to do it. You were the guy.
Did you draw those? Did you
dumb.
draw those the Superman S's on the covers too?
Oh,
What the three?
you mean the
line
Michigan
S's?
State S's? That's what I call them. Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought that for so long that was regional because of Michigan State. It looked like the S until I probably got to college at Michigan State and met other people from around the country, and they all did it. I was like, oh, did you know you were going to go to Michigan State? They're like, no, it's just the S we all draw. And I was like, oh, it blew my mind.
This S.
God Almighty!
Everybody's
we are
doing it.
all showing
doing it.
we are all showing our age here, like for real.
Oh, and
if we have any
100%.
Gen Z listening to this, they're gonna be like, "What the hell
Yeah.
are you talking
Draw,
about?"
Like, that
this
was
should
like
be
an
on the
eight.
U.S. citizenship exam. How do
Wes,
you draw
what-
this
what-
S?
Wes, what
Third
did you
grade.
Google to find this image?
Okay.
Did you Google the cool S?
6-line S is what I
Oh,
put
okay.
in there.
Oh
Six
my
line
God!
S.
Okay, wait, hold on. Keep that up, Wes. I
All
did
right.
it. See how under that there's the ones with the horizontal lines instead of the angles? I did the horizontal ones. Did you guys do the angled or the horizontal ones?
Angles, bro, for sure.
I did
angles.
horizontal. What is
What the
that?
hell
I
is
did
wrong with
horizontal.
you? Horizontal, you didn't do it right. It's the one from the '90s is the angles, bro.
I'm older than you.
This teaches you how to do it. Look.
Oh my
See?
God! Look at it! Look at it!
I bet we can make
All
a
right.
3.5-minute YouTube video about teaching someone how to. We can stretch that. Like, in this video, we're going to teach you how to make the cool
All
stuff.
right, that's enough. We're doing Star Wars trivia, remember?
Oh, yeah, hypothetically. All right, that was me.
It's
There's
Wes.
a few
Yeah,
more
you're
on
up.
here.
Pick a question,
Wes,
Wes.
pick another one.
All right, I'm gonna.
You can get us
spin the
onto another
wheel.
cool tangent about a 90s early aughts textbook thing. You win.
Okay, here's one. I can't tell you. Okay, yeah, I can't tell you the author, but I'll just.
Okay.
All right, here we go. What is the title of the Star Wars canon novel that chronicles the experiences of the 61st Mobile Infantry, a Rebel Alliance unit fighting in the Galactic Civil War?
All right, that has to be the Battlefront book, right?
Yeah. Twilight.
Twilight Company
Yes.
by Alexander
correct. Gotta
Freed.
be.
Yes.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
okay.
Yes. How did you know? How did you know is the Battlefront book? 61st is in the video game.
It's very military sounding. Alexander Freed is the only military sounding author, and he's only written like 3 books. So
Okay.
4 books. And I was like,
Thrawn treason. Like,
3 of those are Alphabet Squadron books. And the only one left is the Battlefront book, which another hot take I greatly disliked.
Well, if we go back to our tier list, we'll see
Yes.
that.
That's
That is
true.
also
It's pretty low on the list too. I
pretty
think
far down.
the writing
that-
style is weird. It just jumps around a lot.
Yeah,
A
and
lot
it's
of people
very
love this. A lot of people
cold.
love this book. Actually, this is another one of these sort of cult
Oh,
classic
yeah.
books. Yeah, this is second to last tier on our tier ranking. This is one of those kind of cult classic books that if you Google like best books to read first and like you end up on Reddit, this gets
Ugh.
recommended as a first book a
Does it
lot.
really?
And I'm just like,
God.
dude, no.
I can't say because I've never read it. I'm not going to say that it's not good
it's-
because I haven't read it.
It's not a bad book. It's just it's very technical and gritty
Yeah.
and doesn't follow the same characters for very long and it jumps
Yeah.
around a lot and it's just like I don't know, it's kind of tough.
It's definitely a precursor to Alphabet Squadron. I feel like you can see after reading Alphabet Squadron, I'm like, oh, that's what you were going for in Twilight
Yeah.
Company. Like he
I
didn't
should- we
have
should-
the emotions in it.
I should go back and read that book maybe now because it is heralded as being a little better than we have all felt about it on this show. So I don't know.
Yeah, and we've read a lot of books since then that, have not been our cup of tea. So maybe it's like, oh, now that I'm older, I can appreciate what this was going for. So
Well, yeah, and
Maybe so.
we've read a trilogy of Alexander Freed too, so now we kind of get
Yeah.
this writing.
yeah, well, literally that's how I felt about Sanderson when I read The Way of Kings for the first time. I couldn't make it through the first chapter. I'm like, I don't get this. But now having read the entire Mistborn trilogy, I'm like, oh, I got it. So maybe it's just a matter of voice. That all could be something.
Okay.
All right, let's
Couple
do
more.
Let's do 2 more. Corey, you want to know the last one, and then we will.
All right.
I'm not looking.
Not looking. Not looking.
Gotta
Oh my
pick
God.
one. Gotta pick
I was
one.
so worried. I was like, we have enough, and then I forgot that we're just a bunch of idiots that talk about textbook wrapping in grocery bags on a Star Wars podcast.
All right, here we go. In Catalyst, a Rogue One novel by James Luceno.
Damn it.
What is the scientific term for the unique crystals found on the planet Lamu that play a pivotal role in the construction of the Death Star superlaser?
Colon crystal.
Get out.
Scientific term in Catalyst. Is it a big, like, is it a detailed part in Catalyst
know.
that you
This
don't know
is-
about? Or it's just like, it's something you absolutely would know if you read Catalyst? Because I haven't.
It's either really easy or it's really freaking hard. But there's no
Okay, yeah.
between.
The strongest stars have hearts of
Kaiba.
Kaiba.
Oh, that's
We
what
were
it
talking
was?
about is Kyber crystals. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's either super easy. Scientific term is a bit strong, I think. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do
agree.
kyber crystals have a scientific name? Like a
I don't think so.
geological name?
I don't think there are scientific names. in Star Wars.
Caribicious, saludicious.
Yeah, right. There's not like Latin, I guess, right? So
I know.
that would have been
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
it is
There's
just
not like
kyber.
Latin and.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, if there was, Luceno would have created it and then put it in the book for 100%.
That's actually probably true, to be honest. So.
You know,
Yeah.
you would have been like, oh yeah, the university. Oh, you think kyber crystals? Well, actually, did you mean Carabarius pedometer? It's like, from Pijal?
Yeah.
From
Yeah.
Shaw.
Pijal. Oh, all right.
Last one.
Last one. Okay, let's get.
Gotta pick a
Get
good one.
interesting. All right, we already did. I'm trying to get like a book we haven't talked about yet too, if we can. Oh, okay. Nope. Oh yeah, here we go. In Phasma, by Delilah S. Dawson. Captain Phasma hails from which harsh, isolated planet within the galaxy?
I don't
Another
remember
planet
this.
question.
I remember this. It's a desert, just like Jakku and all the other freaking desert planets.
It's
Except
unique in that it's a desert planet.
it's a desert planet, but there is an ocean, which makes it makes sense, I guess. But it's like a
No, Iram. No,
Nope.
Arano. No, Iram.
West got broken.
one is the desert, one is the ocean, Wes. Which one is the desert?
You tell me, Corey. You're the one that doesn't know.
The good news is probably only one of them will be in phase 3, and it's the water one, because that's where it
What is it?
crashed.
What does it start with? What's the letters it start with? Is it a P also?
It's all. You're gonna love this. It's also a P.
Yeah, it's a P. It's like
3 syllables.
Okay.
Praylish or Praytech or
Pullist.
something.
I like to think this is how the High Republic Zoom calls go when they're trying to figure out a new name for a planet. Perlod. I don't know.
Dancer.
Purple
Pole dancer.
Pole dancer.
No.
I don't know.
How'd you get it? All
Oh,
right.
no.
Stephanie coming in at the 11 hour. Get it before the chat syncs up.
Pantooine. Pantooine.
It's basically Pantooine.
Yeah. Parnassus.
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 Oh yeah.
Parnassus.
That's what I was gonna say next. Obviously.
It rhymes with molasses.
Captain Phasma. Are you from Parnassus?
Parnassus.
Yeah, but I had to get out there as soon
Phasma,
as
listen.
I could.
Phasma is also a sleeper book, and that planet was really, really good. It kind of seems
Yeah.
like the
Mhm.
closest planet in I'm reminded of is the planet where they process the fuel in Solo. Is what it's a lot like. It's a lot like that
Mhm.
planet. What was that planet?
Oh, what is that planet? What? Of course we know that planet. It's on the video game. I played it a million times.
Kessel?
Kessel, yeah. No,
No,
yeah,
it's not Kessel.
Well, that's
Wait,
where
wait,
they
say
mine
it
it.
No.
again?
That's
What
where they
is it?
take Kessel's where they take the shit from. That's
Right.
where they go to process it with all the people with people that cut
yeah.
the tongues out.
Right,
remember?
right. Yeah.
The old
Oh,
lady,
yeah.
she draws the thing on the thing with her finger.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
I don't know. What
Savarine.
Savarine. That's right. Savarine. That's what it
Savarine.
is. It's Savareen. The
Yeah.
Parnassus is a lot like Savareen. Like
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
like the people are they're all poor and kind of tribal, but there's a big ocean. Like it's like Savareen. It's
No,
exactly like Savareen.
Every time I think about that
Phasma's
now,
high
I
on
just
the
think about
list.
Dryden Voss being like, "See you on Savareen. I like this. This has been fun."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
God,
This is
Solo
fun.
rocks.
But by the way,
I know.
Awesome.
I'll kill
This is
you.
good.
So, fun fact.
Fail me again. I'll have to kill you.
God.
Toodaloo.
So, I want 18 more Dryden Voss movies. So, fun fact, according to the Wook, when asked about the
Beyond
description of
options.
Parnassus, Delilah Dawson described it as Earth after a nuclear disaster, where the rain is poisoned, the food animals are dead, and the land is barren and rocky with an angry ocean like Mad Max Fury Road.
God
So that was her
damn.
inspiration.
That is
Okay.
quite a
Parnassus.
that is quite the description. That is
Hell
really
yeah.
fitting. Phasma's also a sleeper book. That
Yeah.
the book is
Yep.
fantastic. That's
Yep.
like it's very
Go
very
back and
high
check
up.
that out.
Yeah, we have it in A
Yeah, if
tier,
you-
the top of A tier.
Yeah.
It's also a big boy too. You feel accomplished after you've read
a
it.
sense
because
of
it's-
pride and accomplishment a la Battlefront 2.
That is correct because it's thick. It is a thick boy.
Damn, thick.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Oh, man. So, I guess moral of the story is we kind of know some stuff, and we've forgotten a lot more than we ever knew. I think that's good.
That's true. I need a lot of help, but you know, I've read it.
We put our heads together. And
it's
this
in
is
there
all
somewhere.
A lot of this is fairly obscure stuff. So
Yeah.
this is good. This was good.
It's good to remember like these books too. Like I think going forward, you know, we are going to talk about this. I'm going to tease a little more in about 2 weeks about kind of the current state of Star Wars books and how we're feeling about stuff. I think it's always good to know that there are awesome books that we've read in the past, and we've each watched each Star Wars film 18 quadrillion times, and we don't really go back and just read our favorite books every once in a while to help reinvigorate some of that passion. So
It's a
maybe
good-
this will be something really fun, you know?
It's just such a big commitment to reread
It
books.
really
I mean,
is.
it's such a big
Yeah.
commitment when there's
Yeah.
just so much media to consume. It's like, but I
Yeah.
also think about other things that are huge commitments. Like it's not that big of a deal to put on a Star Wars movie, but like I've not watched any of the show seasons more than once.
Yep,
like
nope.
like I've watched probably the first episode of every TV show
It's
like 4 or 5
intimidating.
times because I sit
Yeah.
down. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna rewatch Kenobi. And I'll watch the first episode. And that's literally as far as I get, and then I
And
stop.
like, oh,
So-
okay. Bye.
exactly. So I've seen the first episode of all the shows probably 4 or 5 times, but like,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard to commit to a whole show, just like it's hard to commit to a whole giant novel.
How
Yeah.
difficult
Like, I was
are the
watching-
questions compared, like we did tonight, compared to like the
Mhm.
trivia that Laura and Alice and Force Toast like get into when they actually do those trivia?
I think this was fairly
Yeah.
comparable, except they're more movie trivia. It's more
Movie-based?
movie-based trivia.
They don't
like-
really do a
but
lot of book stuff.
Okay.
But
honestly.
it is obscure shit from the movies.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes
Yeah.
it's
When I went out there a couple times, I had to not train, but I definitely went on all the quizzes and practice, and then you eventually see the same questions pop up, but it gets pretty
Ah,
wild.
okay.
Nothing's worse than Dragon Con though. I mean, every year when that quiz goes out to the public, we all do it in Slack, and God, if you get 10 right, it's like a miracle. It's ridiculous.
yeah, dude, that was really hard. Somebody got really close on our team. Might have been Trevor got
I
like
think it was.
like every question but like 2 correct or something like that. It was really impressive.
Is it an open book
It was
test,
wild.
or can you?
No,
I mean, it's on the
like-
internet.
yeah,
but no.
I mean, but it's
Then how
like
do you get it wrong?
What?
Is it
oh,
that-
because
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
not,
that
we
obscure?
would
Yeah.
actually do it. No.
Okay.
if you want to see how you would shape up in this
Okay,
trivia
yeah,
competition,
okay.
you're like, okay, I'm an idiot actually. So like,
Yeah, it's so
yeah.
hard. It's so hard, but we'll do more of these as time goes on. It's fun to kind of look back, and I hope, if nothing else, I hope that we gave y'all a tips on how to draw the cool S if you don't know, but also remind you of some of these books. I know like Stephanie and some folks saying in the chat, like haven't read Bloodline, haven't read Crash
I
of
know.
Fate, Master and Apprentice. Like if you got some time between releases, like these books are fantastic, and just because we haven't talked about them in a couple of years, like go check them out. There's some great stories out there back when we didn't have the shows, we didn't have all these other things that were going on. So you know, go check
Listen,
them out. They did some crazy stuff.
And you know, fellas, speaking of trivia, we may or may not have a weekend coming up in the next month where we may or may not be all getting together again. And
Oh God.
we got to get Tim to bring the we get Tim to bring the what was
Yeah.
it? What game? Trivial Pursuit? Is that what it was?
It was
Yeah,
Trivial
wait,
Pursuit
hold on.
Star Wars Edition. I don't want to play that game because I don't know the answers to that stuff either.
Dude, no, you did fine in that.
I got it. I got it.
You own it too.
I do. Tim brought it, but I own it. It was in my game closet.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. So I'll bring it.
Yes, make sure you do that.
Okay.
God, I just ruined my closet.
I thought you were about to say we need to go
everywhere.
find a bar or a pub that's holding a Star Wars trivia night. Like that would be almost impossible. We're gonna be out in the middle of nowhere and being a Star Wars trivia night that same weekend.
We are the bar pub that will be having trivia. We're just gonna buy beer and play trivia.
Listen,
We'll just do it ourselves.
we can't participate. We've already established this at Utini. Utini team members are not allowed to participate in Star Wars trivia when they go because there's always some bullshit about like the guy doing the trivia gets something kind of wrong, and you have to be that guy that goes up and it's like, actually, what you're trying to say is incorrect. You can't be that person. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody has to be equally bad at trivia for it to be fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I did that at
It's the same
the
playing
trivia I
level.
went to, and it was me when I went with Laura from Analysis from Force Toast, and there was a whole table, coincidentally, of 501st guys that were also in the bar. And this guy said something. He's like, "Who said this?" And everyone's like, "Yoda." And he's like, "Nope, it was Obi-Wan." And the whole bar was like, "It was not." And like, we all went over him, and this guy was like, "Yo, you nerds! I'm just here on Thursdays. Leave me alone. The card says this."
Leave me alone, nerds. Oh, that's funny.
Brilliant.
I know. It's the worst where when they won't change it either. They're like, well, this is what my card says, so this is what we're gonna go with. So
Yeah.
these people get a point and these nerds don't. It's just like, I'm gonna kill everybody in this room right now.
With my lightsaber that I brought from home.
Yeah.
I've never been good at anything in my life, and this is what I'm good at.
I need validation.
They brought
and a
their
$6
lightsaber.
beer. Well, next week we're gonna add some more trivia into our brains when we talk about Inquisitor: Rise of the Red Blade by Delilah S. Dawson. So your reminder, have that read next week. We're gonna have full spoilers, a full conversation. It's gonna be in the vein of our last couple roundtable discussions. Less kind of formatted, more so just four buddies getting together talking about a book we read. So come on next Monday night. Tune in, or if you're listening or watching us later, whenever you consume this podcast, feel free. And as a reminder to earlier in the show for our Spotify listeners, make sure if you got that Patreon feed, get it all on Spotify this week. It's just so much easier and it's so convenient. But we're going to see you next week for that. And Wesley and I will tell you how we do in our fantasy drafts. I hope.
Absolutely.
Not terrible. I'm so afraid. But on that note, that is going to do it, my friends, for this week's episode of The Living Force. If you support us at Patreon, thank you so much. A special thank you goes out to Brian Dooley, Earl Q, Carl Sander, Zach W, Michael Fry, and Raymond Brzezinski on our Jedi High Council, and James T, Ashley Ingalls, Colton Fife, and Chris Carrizo on our Alliance High Command. You can find us on Twitter at Eric Eilerson, at Corey M. Helton, at Boss West, and at Living Force Pod. A special thank you to Matt Davenport, our amazing editor, Ryan, our graphic designer extraordinaire, and Wes, our producer and community manager. Thank you to Corey and Wes for potting with me tonight. Thanks to all of you for hanging out and having some laughs. And as always, may the Force be with you.